Are you looking for a quick and easy way to plan out your weekly and daily homeschool assignments? In this video, I'm going to show you how I use a weekly checklist so that myself and my kids know exactly which assignments we're going to do each day. Hi, I'm Stacey from Kids Learning for Life. There are many different ways you can go about scheduling your weekly and daily homeschool lesson plans. I wanted to show you the way that I do my weekly planning, which makes it really easy for my kids to know which lessons we're doing each day. What I found helps save me time when scheduling and also makes it really easy for my boys to know what they have to do each day is a weekly checklist. This checklist has 5 different columns for each day of the week, and then it has as many rows as you want to fill in all the subjects that you're going to cover throughout the entire week. So the actual checklist is made in a Google Sheet. And on this Google Sheet, you can check the little boxes. And my kids really like that it's on the iPad because it's kind of like a game to them where they finish a subject and then they get to come on here, oh, I'm done with that. And so they know once all the checklists in that day are done, all the check boxes on that day are done, then they are done with their schooling for the day and they can go outside well, we do recess, but they can go outside some more. They can go do art or free play or reading or whatever they want. It's up to you, but you could leave it in a Google Sheet if you have a phone or an iPad or even a computer where your kids can check off each of their assignments each day. And you can also see on here I have one different tab for each of my students. So that way they don't get mixed up on which box is theirs. They just know that they come down here to their color and then they can start checking their checklist off. You could also choose to just print each of the checklists and put them in the students' binders or a folder, or just put them up on your fridge or tape them somewhere on your wall and they can check them off as you go. You could also use those binder protector sheets and use a whiteboard marker. So you could stick their checklist in that and then they can check it off each week and then you can just erase it and then start again fresh the next week. Either way, I'll have that Google Sheet linked below so that you can check it out. So this is great in theory, right? A simple little checklist, all you have to do is check it off. But how do I know what I'm going to teach each day, and how do I make sure I plan that in a quick and simple way? In order to answer that question, we actually need to look back to my yearly calendar planning. If you have not already, I suggest you go back and watch that video because my yearly calendar planner will set up my entire year so that I know exactly what I need to teach throughout the entire year, month by month, and it makes your weekly and daily planning that much simpler. So now that you have your yearly planner and you know exactly what you want to teach every single month, you can take each month and break it down even further into weeks. So if your first month of school has 4 weeks and you have 12 reading lessons you need to cover in those 4 weeks, you can divide your 12 by 4 weeks and that'll tell you you need to be covering 3 reading lessons every single week. So now you know that on your weekly checklist, under your reading lessons, you should have at least 3 boxes across the entire week. So for my family, we do our reading. I do a lesson on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we do other reading activities on Tuesdays and Thursdays just because that's one topic that I like to have something incorporated every single day for the extra practice, especially since my kiddos are so young. But for like the actual content lessons, I like to just spread it out a little bit. As with the yearly calendar, your weekly calendar may change, especially as you are first trying to figure all of this out. It's okay if you have to change a few things around or you think that 3 lessons might be not enough or too much in 1 week. And so you have the ability to be able to switch around what you teach where. If you're new to homeschooling, don't be too hard on yourself and think that you have to have everything figured out right away. This will be my 3rd year homeschooling, and I can tell you I still don't have everything figured out, and things will change from year to year as your students also change how they want to learn or their interests change and those sorts of things. So I just wanted to let you know it's completely normal for things to not go exactly as planned. So make sure you add a little bit of flexibility in there as well. So when do I do my weekly planning? I typically do it on Sundays or maybe Fridays if I'm feeling really ambitious and get it done before the weekend for the next week. But sometime at the end of the week or before the next week starts, I'll sit down open up my computer real quick, remove all of the checkboxes from the boys' previous Google Sheet, and I just use the same Google Sheet. There's no reason that I need to keep each Google Sheet from week to week. We just clear it and we start again fresh. It's important to take a quick look at the checklist to see if you need to make any changes. These changes could be an assignment from the previous week was taking a little longer than you expected, so you're going to want to make some extra time for it in the upcoming week. Or maybe you have an extra activity or a park play date that is going to be scheduled in this following week, but not the previous week. So you can make adjustments and remove an activity here or there, depending on what your weekly schedule is going to look like. One reason that I'm able to make this checklist and kind of make it a little bit easier to do each week is because I do follow a majority of the time a curriculum that has a certain number of lessons, and it's easy for me to divide it up and put it all into this weekly checklist. But I do understand that if you're creating your own curriculum or working from scratch or piecing together a bunch of different things, this is not going to be as simple as I'm making it out to be, because you're going to have a lot more pieces and a lot more planning to put forth before you can even create the checklist for your students. There is one curriculum I'm using that is not your typical textbook, go through the lessons and then you're done sort of curriculum. This curriculum is called Layers for Learning, and it is a unit study curriculum that focuses on art, history, science, and geography all in one curriculum. With this curriculum, I do have to look ahead at all the different activities I could do and select the ones that I actually want to do. So this one curriculum does take me a little bit of extra planning that is not as easy as just looking at the checklist and moving a few boxes around. The Layers of Learning curriculum has its own planning sheet that I utilize, and that is how I get those lessons planned out. If you have a curriculum that's similar to this Layers of Learning style of planning, then you will also need to be taking a little bit more time to figuring out what you're going to be teaching each day for each lesson, and then putting it into the checklist. As a quick reminder, the weekly checklist is only our school activities, when we do our schooling in the morning between 8 and 9 and noon. There are also going to be lots of other opportunities for them to get education or learning in throughout the whole school day. For example, I will read to my children before bed, and we also like to watch educational YouTube videos. Our favorite is Mark Rober, if you haven't looked him up, and he does these extravagant engineering and science videos, which are really fun to watch. These types of activities are purely for fun and are not technically considered our schoolwork. Now, in the grand scheme of learning and education, yes, my children are learning at these non-school time hours in our homeschool. But to them, it's not a school day activity. So your first step is going to be to complete your yearly curriculum plan. This is going to help take all of your curriculum and break it out into easy chunks for you to be able to digest so that you can teach your children. Once you have that plan in place, you will be able to break it down even further into weeks and then into your weekly checklist, which breaks everything down into days. Once you have your checklist, you know exactly what you're going to be doing each day, and it's just a matter of getting up and doing it with your kids. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe to get more homeschool content just like this. And don't forget to tell me in the comments below what type of homeschool curriculum you've chosen and how you're going to be planning for it this upcoming school year. See you next time!